Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Cohn Zone Live. I'm Grant. That's my dad, Lowell Cohn. We do this every week, but every once in a while we do it live, and today's one of those days. It's a big day for the 49ers, a big week. They're 2-2. They just lost a game on national television, and I think it was a particularly meaningful loss, Dad. I think it changes the entire conversation of the season. I'm curious to hear what you think. Real quick, what I think about this particular loss to the Eagles. They were coming off 2 wins. Had they won this game, the conversation would have been, can they still win the Super Bowl? Has all this adversity been good for the 49ers? Are they going to be tougher and stronger and better for going through this? Now, the conversation is, are they going to make the playoffs? They have to win this game this week against the Miami Dolphins. If they don't, they're 2-3, and they have just a brutal schedule. They could still make the playoffs if they start 2-3, but I think the conversation is totally different now. There's more urgency. There's less fantasy. It's not about the ultimate goal. It's about one thing at a time. They got to win this week, and they got to make the playoffs. And that's a whole different mindset than they've had in about a year.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Grant, you're saying that the loss was meaningful because now the question is, can they make the playoffs? I would actually ask the question a different way. I would say, if they can't beat the Philadelphia Eagles, who the hell can they beat?
That's a better question. Yep.
That's what I think. Now, of course, they could beat those 2 New Jersey teams, but they're the worst. Those 2 teams are the absolute worst. But now we know they couldn't beat Arizona with their regular quarterback and with a lot of guys that, healthy. Of course, they had a lot of injuries against the Eagles, but the Eagles had a lot of injuries too. And the Eagles essentially have 1 player on offense. They got beat by 1 player on offense. So
the Cardinals have 2. 2.
So that's very bad.
Yes.
So I'm saying that I think it's a tremendously meaningful loss in a negative way. And I'm sorry, Grant and I are not trying to be negative. We're trying to be honest and realistic. And I'm saying, who the hell can they beat? I mean, in boxing, it's like a contender lost to a bum.
Yes.
They're a contender and they lost to a bum. And then you have to say, how good is that boxer?
And it's not just that they lost to 2 teams they should have beat that are inferior to them. They lost to both of them at home. They're 0-2 at Levi Stadium this year. One of the teams is in their division. Really, they should be 4-0 right now, despite all the injuries and excuses. And the reason they lost the 2 games they lost are because of their own sloppiness and their own problems. Last year, they set the bar so high. This is beneath them. And right now, it's looking more like the team they were 2 years ago.
When you say they should be 4-0, of course, I feel that way as well. The team that we thought they would be should be 4-0. But now what we're learning is maybe they're not the team we thought they are. Maybe 2-2 is appropriate.
Yes.
Really. You can't say they're 2-2, but they're really a 4-0 team. No, they're 2-2.
Yes.
And they lost to 1 mediocre team and 1 horrible team. Well, so I guess the other question is not only who the hell can they beat, but who are they?
Right. I mean, they've lost to 2 teams that most likely will not make the playoffs this year. So what does that mean about the 49ers?
Right.
What does that mean about them? Yeah.
I think the playoffs at this time.
Playoffs?
It's playoffs?
Playoffs?
It's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, they need to answer more fundamental questions. Who are they and who the hell can they beat?
Yeah, I mean, for example, who are they? I like to talk about identity with football. First play of the game, they're in the shotgun, Nick Mullins throws. What is that? It's your backup quarterback. You're a run-first team. Where's the confidence in your run game? So Mullins misses that throw wildly. Next play, you throw even further down the field. What is that? Where is your identity? You run the ball and you throw to George Kittle. All of a sudden, it's like they came out in that game and figured that they needed to do special tricky stuff to beat the Philadelphia Eagles? Really? No. You just needed to score maybe 14 points and commit no turnovers. And they couldn't even figure that out. So yeah, they came into that game like they were playing the New Orleans Saints, that they needed to go bombs away and Nick Mullins had to be Jimmy Garoppolo. He didn't have to be Jimmy Garoppolo. They just needed to play a very vanilla conservative game and they couldn't even do that. Yeah, it's concerning.
And I like what you're saying. I'm going to rephrase what you said in another way. They asked a lot of Jimmy in that. I'm sorry, of Mullins in that first series.
Oh,
They're a run first team. Why put the pressure on him right away?
why?
Seriously,
Why? On national television, especially when the first throw was way off.
Yes. Why put that kind of pressure on him? You're a run first team. You're supposed to be really great at running. I know they don't have Mostert, but they have a good running back and they have good trick running plays.
Right.
Why put it onto that kid's hands right away and put the pressure on him? And he didn't handle it well.
And you could see it right away. It was clear. It was right there. The thing is, like, Shanahan was perfect the week before against the Giants. His play calling was even better than Nick Mullins' play. Mullins was great. Shanahan was perfect, and he set up Mullins for success. The next week, he sets him up for failure, in my opinion. I don't understand how he can do that 7 days apart.
I agree. And I do want to, we're going to get to Shanahan later, but he was brilliant against the Giants. But you know what? Maybe Skyline High School would be too. The Giants suck. And, you know, the Niners, of course, it was great that they won those games for them, but that didn't prove that they are an elite team. And then to lose to Carson Wentz and 10 other guys on offense, it was really bad. So to me, the loss was extremely meaningful because the worst thing happened. And that means now the deluge can come. After this, the deluge. Who knows who they are? If they beat Miami, you'd say, okay, that's good. But we've seen them lose to these other teams. So they can win a game and redeem themselves somewhat, but they can't prove anything.
Yeah, we've seen them beat the Jets and the Giants. What does that prove? It proves nothing. It means that they're better than two teams that could win 3 games this year. And so, I mean, not combined, but a couple of teams that could go 3-13, 4-12. They've beaten those teams. Yeah. And that's the only time Nick Mullins played well. Mullins played well against the Giants. Garoppolo played well against the Jets. He looked bad against the Cardinals, and Mullins looked bad against the Eagles. So maybe we're thinking the Niners have 2 good quarterbacks. Maybe on this particular iteration of the team, they have no good quarterbacks. That may be what they have right now. Jimmy Garoppolo has a lot of pressure on him whenever he comes back to this team because he was having trouble with the pass protection before he got hurt. And then he got hurt, and now they're 2-2.
That leads us to our next question, which I typed these out last night. I'm very organized.